Lori Vallow Daybell is now in Arizona, and we've talked about her, the trial, what she did. She's accused of killing two of her children and her estranged husband and conspiring to kill her, I guess, current husband's late wife. Everything this woman, and she's from Arizona, everything this woman touched basically was killed. She describes that zombies were in these people. That's why a lot of folks call her the Doomsday Mom, right?
Yeah, because she thought the world was coming to an end, and she, like a few others inside of this, could see the zombies when nobody else could.
Right. And so the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office had to transport her in a car from, was it Iowa to Arizona?
No, it was Idaho
to Arizona.
Man, I was bummed because I thought it would totally be like Con Air.
Yeah.
Right? You got Nicolas Cage on there, and
No.
you got her. She's all sitting there, and they got her in the thing, and Ving Rhames is on the thing, and Danny Trejo.
She's very charming if you have seen documentaries about her. And I thought this would be interesting.
Very flirtatious.
How did this car ride go? You have one of the most notorious, infamous murder cases in recent history, and this woman was transported from Idaho to Arizona by the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. Joining us now, Sheriff Paul Penzone. Sheriff, how are you today?
Good. You gentlemen are painting quite the picture for me.
I know. I think
You better be good, man. We set you up big time.
No pressure. Just I have to compete with Con Air, but I'll do my best.
it really is amazing what this woman did. And for you to have to put together a plan to transport someone who was involved in something so heinous and disgusting, we were interested in talking to you about it. So the transport from Idaho to Arizona, why the car? Why didn't you bring her here by plane?
Well, first of all, credit goes to my sergeant over the Fate Detail, Sergeant Rios, and his team, because what they do in all these circumstances, they evaluate all factors, and one of the most significant factors was the weather conditions. If you fly there like we normally would in most circumstances to take custody and bring her back, if for some reason you have inclement weather and you can't fly out or you're stuck at the airport, now you have a person, and I know you guys described what she's capable of,
right?
But oftentimes, a mid-sized woman it's not going to be like looking at a big range. Maybe not as intimidating, maybe not as threatening, so you underestimate the threat itself. You don't want to be in the population of community members longer than you have to when you have a dangerous felon. You want to get him from point A to point B. So they decided that the safest way to control the environment, control the circumstances, was to travel by car. We doubled up to make sure that if there was a challenge or a problem with one of the vehicles, we were too deep. We put 2 deputies in each car. They came from our fugitive apprehension detail, organized by the extradition team, and then we added 1 canine deputy. She's just a very savvy, talented, experienced deputy, and she happens to be female, so you always want to make sure that you have the same gender in the vehicle, and in case there's any other issues out of bathrooms. So the 4 of them drove out, stayed overnight to get a little bit of rest, and they had a long straight drive back other than stopping for needs like gas and other things. They wanted to make sure that they came straight back without complicating or endangering the trip itself.
Paul Penzone, Maricopa County Sheriff, is joining us for talking about the transport that he had to put together from Idaho to Arizona to bring Daybell here. So from what I understand, I've seen her in a lot of documentaries. She's charming. She's flirtatious. She doesn't come off as someone who would kill her own children. And from what I understand, can you tell us what she was like from talking to your deputies in that car ride? Because we're hearing some things. We wanted to see if any of them were true.
Yeah, and to give clarity, I'm giving you information third hand.
Yeah.
From my team to some folks, that are the next level to me. But I'll preface it with this, and I'm not speaking about her specifically. I'm talking in generalities, my own experience. When you're in an environment with a person who has a criminal mind or is violent by nature or a sociopath, they always believe they can control the engagement, the relationship, that space that they're in, and they use charm and they use tactics to almost kind of get you off your game, and they like to be manipulative. And when people really are evil, they're exceptional at it because they have no conscience. They don't believe the consequences really affect them, so they just act as whatever they're most comfortable with. My understanding is she was chatty the whole ride. She talked from bell to bell. I don't know if she slept at any time, but she was very comfortable, according to the deputies, as though she was just hanging out with friends on the way back.
Wow.
Talking to Paul Penzone, Maricopa County Sheriff. It is crazy, but
it's creepy.
This is different. Obviously, when she, most people, I'm sure, when you transport them, again, maybe you take a plane or whatever it is. Con Air joked about that, but the reality is there's not cameras and people waiting. This situation here. You had all of that. Do you guys plan out, okay, this is what I want you to do. We've looked at the weather. This is the route I want to take. Do you guys plan all of that stuff out?
They do. They left nothing for chance, nothing for error. Everything was planned out. And, we do so, and we live in a different time and space in law enforcement now than we did, a decade or two ago when it comes to being more clear about our transparency and our accountability. Not that we weren't before, but now just with technology and things of that nature that are working in our favor. So, we did it very quietly. As I said in the news conference, we're not looking for sensationalism. We're looking to get the job done. So we really didn't announce in advance what our intentions were, when it was going to be executed. We wanted to get her back on the ground and finish the mission. And then we can show you exactly what occurred, within reason. So every aspect of it, where they were stopping, where they were staying, the two vehicles, how they're going to transport, projecting times of departure and return, everything was, we were basically NASA, sending a spaceship to the moon and back.
How do you figure out where you stay? Like, you just roll over to a Motel 6 and a bunch of people going, all right, we need 8 rooms, and this lady's, who she is. I mean, do you have places along the way that okay, they'll let us get into the back, they'll let us stay in a certain area?
Well, keep in mind, they went out, and what they did, that they being the deputies, got out there, got on the ground, and then they rested. They want to make sure they were fresh for the ride back, because they want to come straight through. So once she was in our custody, there was no overnighters and hotels or things of that nature. I think it was 18-hour drive. So you got 2 cars, 2 deputies in each, taking turns resting when they can. But they wanted to get on the ground, get settled, get prepared, rest, take her out of the, Department of Corrections in Idaho, get back in their cars and get on the road back, to MCSO. And that's what they did, and they did it flawlessly.
Did you meet her?
No.
You've never talked to her?
No. And listen, I look at it like this. We have a job to do. Me having any conversation or dialogue with her does nothing to further pursuing justice or anything like that. To me, those are those, and forgive me for saying this, you and I go way back, so you know me. That's for sensationalism. That's for those who are kind of seeking the moth, the flame moment. That's not me. I just want to handle business. I want to lead by example and make sure that my team understands, although we showed you this because it was such an interest in the media, we're not in the business of entertainment. We're not in the business of becoming the story. We're in the business of keeping people safe and protecting the community. So I stay out of that kind of noise.
All right. Maricopa County Sheriff Paul Penzone, thanks for joining us. Happy holidays.
Same to you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Later, Sheriff.